I used to think feeling tired all the time was just part of getting older, until I met a 92-year-old who had more energy than me. And that's when I realized, we've been lied to. Most of us blame aging for that afternoon slump, the heavy eyelids after lunch, or needing just one more cup of coffee to make it through the day. But here's what your doctor might not tell you. If you're over 60 and constantly fighting fatigue, it's not your age, it's your mitochondria crying for help. Think of mitochondria like tiny batteries in every cell. They power everything from your heartbeat to your thoughts. And over time, if we don't feed them the right way, they start to sputter. But here's the good news. You can recharge them starting today. Now, you might have heard eat healthy or take a supplement. But let me tell you about Evelyn. She came to me exhausted, convinced she'd never feel vibrant again. Then she started adding one simple thing to her breakfast, a handful of walnuts. Not a magic pill, not a crazy detox, just walnuts. Within 2 weeks, she was gardening again without needing a nap. Why? Because walnuts are packed with magnesium, the spark plug your mitochondria need to fire on all cylinders. So here's my challenge to you. Tomorrow morning, swap your toast for a bowl of spinach and eggs, or sprinkle almonds on your oatmeal. And pay attention, because if your energy lifts even a little, that's your body whispering, thank you. But, and this is critical, if you don't struggle with energy crashes, if you wake up feeling refreshed most days, that's a huge sign you're built for the long haul. In fact, centenarians, folks who live past 100, almost all share this trait. So celebrate it, and let's talk about the next silent symptom that could be creeping up on you without you even noticing. You ever notice how getting out of a chair sometimes feels like unfolding an old lawn chair? That little groan, the stiff knees, that extra second it takes to straighten up. Most of us write it off as just part of aging. But here's something that might surprise you. Your body isn't meant to creak like a rusty hinge. In fact, if you can't comfortably tie your shoes, scratch between your shoulder blades, or look over your shoulder when backing out of the driveway, that's not age talking. That's your fascia begging for attention. Fascia is like the body's saran wrap. It holds everything together in smooth, gliding layers. But as we get older, without the right care, it starts drying out and sticking together. Picture a brand new garbage bag. It unfolds effortlessly. Now imagine one that's been sitting in the sun for months, crackly, stiff, right? That's what happens to our fascia when we stop moving it properly. Now here's where most people go wrong. They think they need to stretch harder or force their bodies into pretzel shapes. But my friend Carl taught me a better way. At 78, he could barely reach his knees. Then he started doing what I call the newspaper stretch every morning. Simple as reaching to unfold an imaginary newspaper, then gently twisting to read the headlines over each shoulder. No sweating, no straining, just lubricating those stuck layers. Within 3 weeks, he was tying his shoes without sitting down. The secret isn't flexibility, it's hydration for your connective tissue. Try this right now. Sit tall, take a deep breath, and slowly tilt your ear toward your shoulder like you're trying to hold a phone there. Feel that? If it's tight or crunchy, that's your fascia talking. But here's the beautiful part. Just like soaking a dried-out sponge, gentle movement every day can bring back that smooth glide. And if you don't struggle with stiffness, if you can still touch your toes or swing your arms freely, that's another golden sign you're aging like fine wine. But there's one more sneaky symptom even sharper folks sometimes miss, and it's not where you'd expect to look for it. Now let me ask you something, how many times this week have you walked into a room and forgotten why? If you're like most folks over 60, you probably chuckled and said, oh, that's just senior moments. But what if I told you that kind of memory fog isn't a normal part of aging at all? In fact, neuroscientists have discovered that your brain is actually designed to keep learning and remembering well into your 90s and beyond. Here's what's really happening. That forgetfulness isn't about losing brain cells, it's about your hippocampus, your brain's memory center, getting a little out of shape. Think of it like a muscle you haven't been exercising properly. And just like muscles, when you give it the right kind of workout, it can grow stronger at any age. I want to tell you about Martha, one of the most inspiring people I've ever met. At 82, she was struggling with names and appointments, until she started playing what she calls the grocery list game. Every morning, she'd visualize walking through her favorite store, placing exactly 7 items in her cart: bananas, milk, eggs, and so on. Sounds simple, right? But here's the miracle. After 2 months of this daily 3-minute exercise, not only could she recall all 7 items, but she started remembering her grandchildren's school events better than their parents did. The science behind this is fascinating. When you create vivid mental images like Martha did, you're actually building new neural pathways. It's like blazing a fresh trail through a forest. The more you walk it, the clearer the path becomes. And here's something even more exciting. Researchers at UCLA found that people who do these kinds of exercises for just 15 minutes a day can improve their memory by nearly 30% in a matter of weeks. Now, if you don't struggle with forgetfulness, if names and dates come easily to you, that's an incredible sign your brain is aging beautifully. But whether memory is a concern or not, here's what I want you to take away today. Your golden years don't have to mean slowing down or fading away. Your body and mind are waiting for you to give them the right signals to stay vibrant. So here's my invitation to you: try Martha's grocery list game tomorrow morning. Or pick one of the other simple tips we've talked about today. Because the most important thing isn't which one you choose, it's that you start speaking the language your body understands. When you do that, every year ahead can be your best yet. And if this resonated with you, I'd love to hear about your experiences. Drop a comment below sharing one thing you'll try this week. Because the truth is, we're all in this together, learning how to make these years shine. Now go enjoy that amazing life of yours. You've earned every brilliant moment of it. You know, when I started working with people in their later years, I expected to hear stories about limitations. But what I discovered instead was this incredible truth. The people who age most joyfully aren't necessarily the ones with perfect health. They're the ones who wake up each morning and say, "What can my body do for me today?" That shift, from worrying about decline to celebrating capability, makes all the difference. Like my friend Samuel, who started ballroom dancing at 78 after we worked on his stiffness. Last month, he sent me a video of himself twirling his new bride at their wedding. Or Rita, who at 84 began learning Italian just to surprise her granddaughter, and now they text each other in Rome's native language every day. These aren't extraordinary people. They're people who decided that getting older doesn't mean settling for less. It means discovering new ways to thrive. And that's what I want for you. Not just more years in your life, but more life in your years. So here's my final thought. Pick one thing from today, just one, that made you nod along or think, maybe I should try that. Then tomorrow morning, before the day gets away from you, take 3 minutes and do it. 3 minutes to invest in the incredible, resilient, brilliant person you're still becoming. Because the secret isn't adding years to your life, it's adding life to your years. And you, my friend, have so much wonderful life ahead.